Yo, what's up guys? How is everyone doing? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. It has been quite an interesting day actually today. With the markets, with Crypto Mafia. Done some new things today, it's pretty cool. Where am I from? I'm not from Scotland. I wish I could speak like Scottish people. I'm from London. So I've got a bit of a boring accent, but a mix of like Welsh and American as well, because I'm just so multicultural like that. Yeah, so guys, amazing to see. I think 60 people waiting today. Is this unlisted? Oh god, that's not supposed to... It's meant to be... No, it is a public live stream, isn't it? I think I need to refresh my page here. But yeah, guys, you know, has Bitcoin begun the new uptrend? We've got an exciting video today. I'm very happy to be bringing this to you. And really, you know, not much has changed, alright? The only thing that's changed since yesterday, go over to the 4-hour chart now, is we have gotten a break above to touch the 6,800 line. And guys, I called this as a possibility. I said that it could definitely happen. And what happened yesterday, guys, was we went down, we bartered down. I went over what these BART patterns are and how they form. We bartered down and then we bartered right back up. And this is all completely random, but what this is telling me right now, especially seeing that we've got a more natural trading pattern at the moment, again, it does look mostly like a BART, and we could definitely be going down here. I'll get into that in just a second now. Actually, let me pull up my script singular rather, which isn't complete. Here, absolutely, yeah. I mean, maybe, yes, that is how Scottish people say it. Oh, what's up, Nish? Great to see you here. You know, what we've seen today is a test above to the 6,800 line, and you know, I was actually doing a stream with VIP members explaining exactly what my, you know, pretty big strategy is here. No matter what we do, we're gonna get some pretty good profits. And while I was actually live, we saw this pump, so that was kind of funny, quite inconvenient, but you know, what we're looking at right now, guys, is a rejection of the 6,800 line, and I did post my Elliott wave formation pattern, which I did say that we could be seeing play out. So in this case, it's a little bit messed up just because of this weird bot action, but the same premise does stand. We had the wave 1 up down to 3, 4, and 5. And obviously this ended at the 6,800 line, so this is exactly how I drew it out. The lines were slightly different, it was placed over here, but apart from that, everything was the same. So it is nice to see this playing out as expected, and you know what we could be seeing here now is potentially a correction. All right, so what I did consider is maybe we could have something like an ABC correction, potentially something like this, drop to maybe 6,400 support, which is a bit of a crucial area, not so much, but it's an area to take note of nonetheless. And what we could see from there, guys, is hitting, you know, about 6,400, probably going sideways because the bots do their thing. And then, oh shit, we just hit 20,000 subs. That's awesome. Thank you so much, CM Pat. Thank you. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, you know what? I was so happy when I hit 10,000. So, that's like a goal I thought I would never hit. So 20,000 is, right now, is really making my inner child... No, that sounds so weird, but it's really making the young me quite happy, assuming that person hasn't died. So with this ABC correction, we could be seeing another leg up. And guys, as you already know, within larger Elliott wave formations, what we can have are smaller Elliott waves. So for example, we could have one going up like this, down to 2, up to, for example, 3, 4, and 5. We can have multiple Elliott waves with Elliott waves within other Elliott waves. It gets a little bit confusing, but I think this can lay it out perfectly. We've got an Elliott wave going up, an ABC correction going down, and then following through with this larger time frame Elliott wave all the way up to $7,800 resistance. And guys, if we can get there, I think it's going to be pretty huge. At the moment, we are at this 6,800 line, and that's, you know, that's the first possibility. All right, we get a correction and then we go back up, and this is the bullish scenario. Now the second bullish scenario that could play out here is we get a bot up to 6,800 now. So I mean, that wouldn't really be a bot, but we get a pump up to 6,800 and then we consolidate at that level. And if that happens, that's not really as bullish as you know, the other situation I just laid out for you. But of course, that would be more dominated by bots. It would not be a good sign. You know, we look at volume today and it's okay, it's at 14.9. As we're going up, I would have really liked to see increasing volume. So the peak we saw like yesterday or whatever it was was about 15 or 17 billion, so I would have liked to see this at least above 15, if not hitting numbers like 18, like 19. So a little bit concerning, not too much sort of strength following this pump, but we will put that to the side for now. What we could see is a bit of sideways action going on here, and then yet another pump right up, and taking us into the $7,000 zone. And guys, look, sentiment is good right now, you're hearing it in my voice, but none of this matters until we break 6,800 and we go above it with volume. All right, it's anything here, anything in this zone below 6,800 is a bull trap zone. Bull trap meaning, you know, you're going bullish and then you get trapped and it goes down, right? So a rising wedge is what you could consider a bull trap, because it gets you happy, it gets you bullish, and then it fails. And right now, there is absolutely no reason, well, there are many reasons, but whatever, that's not a good way to phrase it, but there's no reason that this won't go up, rather that this won't go down now, because we have hit this 6,800 resistance from the bottom. I was calling this, you know, we could go up to 6,800 and then get rejected, and that hasn't changed, right? My stance there hasn't changed. I'm still mostly neutral. I'm now accepting the possibilities of a bullish scenario, and it's definitely good. Like I said, if it is going to happen, our VIP members are ready for it. I laid out our strategy completely in our live stream. I think it was pretty useful. I got a lot of great feedback about that. And so that is something that could be playing out, you know, botting up to 6,800 and then pumping above, or, you know, we go up to 68 and then we get rejected, and really that rejection would be pretty miserable. You know, I'm going to be looking for further confirmation once we start dumping from 68. I want to see us going below 64 and some other levels, and then I would be looking to take up a short position and ride it down, because I think if we do test this support line again, or you know, this rising wedge support line, or even this horizontal support line, both signifying the triple bottom, I think if we do end up testing it once more, we are going to fall flat right through it, and start free falling into the mid to low 5,000s. I honestly think that if we have to test those levels again, Bitcoin is going to have a very dark next few months. There is a possibility that we get another triple bottom in this area, maybe something like a head and shoulders, but guys, personally, I'm not feeling it. It would make sense, obviously, and if I draw this right now, something like this, I don't even know where I would draw this head. Let's say it's over here and bring it up here. You know, we could get a pattern like this playing out, which would be an inverse head and shoulders, and it lines up with the first scenario I mentioned, where we could be going down with this ABC correction and then go up. So that is obviously playing out exactly what an inverse head and shoulders would be. But guys, just with these patterns in general, I don't really like giving them much credit, just because you can spot them anywhere, and so it's so open to interpretation that you can literally plot like hundreds of them on this, well, probably not literally, but you can plot so many of them on the chart that it becomes obsolete. Your 4 is lower than your 1, so that invalidates your Elliott wave count. Pretty sure about this. Yeah, Morton, that would invalidate it, so I have to draw it again and check where I went wrong there. Thank you for pointing that out. So fun to see all the stupid people calling Bitcoin to 5,000. We'll never revisit 6,200. Robert, you sound pretty sure of that, so if you have some sort of future bull that I don't know about, I'd like to have in on that. But I don't think it's right to instantly call everyone stupid who disagrees with you. Yeah, Robin, how do you know? I mean, that's a bit of an aggressive stance. I don't really like that. But, you know, you guys saw this thumbnail, and I think I put that on the Binance chart. Let's go over here. Well, it might not have been, but this is a good sign, alright? With this mid to long-term resistance, guys, we've broken it and we've stayed above it, alright? So this is good. Now, the volume hasn't been decreasing while we've broken above it. It hasn't been increasing, and ideally what we want to see is increasing volume. So unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but at the very least, it hasn't been decreasing, and so that is a very good sign in terms of a breakout. You know, this right here does mean that we've started an uptrend, all right? It means we've ended a downtrend, we've broken up above it, and we're now in an uptrend. How long this plays out for, I don't know. I mean, it could very well be the case that it is, you know, yet another rising wedge. We've already played out these rising wedges so many times in the past. So, you know, one over here, a rising wedge, And we could very well be playing out something very similar yet again. Obviously, this being a much steeper rising wedge, so that would indicate to you that if we break below it now, the dump would be a bit steeper as well, so a lot more volatility. And as you know, volatility is exactly what we need, because we want to be making profits off that by shorting and longing. And, you know, whether it's going up or down, of course, like I always say, we're always making profits, alright? Because all you have to do is predict which way it's going to go, and once you've done that, you're looking at exponential gains every time. So that's the sort of mid-term, short-term analysis. You know, I just wanted to show you our EMA resistance again. Let's pull up this template. And guys, on the daily, what we're looking at is trading right within this pretty thick ribbon. So like I always say, the thicker the ribbon, the stronger the resistance. And at the moment, this resistance does look fairly strong, but it is a good sign that we've hit this resistance. All right, we've wicked up to it. And then we've traded within it for 1, 2, 3 days now, and we still haven't been rejected. So for the short term, that is a good sign of strength. It doesn't really tell us much in the long term, though, so this is more like, you know, if you want something final to confirm some sort of trade for you, to confirm your bullish bias, this is probably it. As for the 4 hour, it is better because what we actually have is a support ribbon here, which we bounced off 1, 2, 3, 4 times now, so that is a very good sign. And as we go up, this EMA ribbon will go up with us, and it will keep on forming a nice support for us. So like I said, I do absolutely love using the EMA ribbons, and in this case it has proven to be very good. Now, one thing to note though, you can see, some of you may have already noticed, our EMA 200 line. So this is a much more long-term line for the EMA, and really this is a what's the word, it's a sign of resistance. So you can see we have been rejected by this line a couple times, not so heavily, but overall what it does mean is when you're below any EMA, but specifically for a long-term indicator like the 200 candle EMA, that is typically a very bullish sign. So it's very possible, you know, like it fits in perfectly with the idea that we get rejected from 6800. It's very possible that we end up being sent down because of this EMA. But if we do go above it, this is really good confirmation of starting a proper bull run. So that is going to be pretty nice. And it's the same deal here with our 200-day moving average. Sorry, let's go over to the daily. Okay, so that's on the 4 hour, my bad. As for our 200-day moving average, Bitcoin doesn't really respect this as much, but you can see that it has with this double top at $10,000. Not exactly, but good enough. And the same premise stands here. When we're below it, we are bearish, and right now we still definitely are much more bearish than bullish overall. I'm just talking about sort of in the short and mid-term that that this is looking fairly decent. Exponential moving average, what does this mean? Lumpy. Exponential moving average is the average of past candles. So if I go over to this, I always like to take the example of 21 just because it's the shortest time frame. It's the past 21 candles, past 21 days, the average of those. And since it is the exponential moving average, it gives more weight to the more recent prices. So you can see that it really does follow these more recent prices a lot more than the longer time frame candles. And I think that since it gives more weight to recent prices, it's better for the volatility in crypto. On the monthly chart, we bounced off the 200 EMA. That's pretty good. Check that out on the Bitfinex chart. Monthly. Okay, so I have too many indicators on right now. Okay, so I don't see a monthly 200 MA. I think you might mean 20 or something like that, but yeah, so that makes sense. If you mean 20, yeah, we have bounced off the 21 month EMA, so that is a pretty good sign. And of course, you know, the longer time frame we choose with the longer sort of indicators, the more reliable it is. So really, I mean, this is showing us we've got very, very strong support all the way down to $3,000. If we were to drop below that, Bitcoin is probably dead. Like completely dead, at least for a decent while. But as it stands now, it does look pretty good. You know, we've bounced off this. I mean, it's possible we even start trading within this ribbon. That would be pretty bleak. It would mean that we get sent below $5,000. Sorry, into the $5,000 range, and of course below to $3,000. But you know, this bounce does look promising. Whether it's going to hold or not, I don't know. Fundamentally, like I covered in the last stream, there is nothing wrong with Bitcoin. It's constantly been improving since last year, and so this lines up pretty well to tell us that the bear market has ended, or at least that the worst of it has already come, and we've endured the worst of it now, and brighter days are ahead, and only brighter days, mind you. So that is a pretty good sign. Yeah, 21 EMA, cool. Can you comment on the 4-hour bearish divergence which we see now? I didn't spot any bearish divergence, Scott. Let me check that out. Yeah, no, I don't see a bearish divergence. If you can point that out to me, I will take a look at it. I mean, are you talking about with the RSI, or is it with like another momentum indicator or something? Yeah, Lumpy, ribbons are amazing, honestly. I mean, this is, you know, like I always say, if you're a new trader and you just trade based off these ribbons, you will be better than the majority of traders. You know, you throw in a bit of common sense, and suddenly you will become one of the most successful traders in the crypto space. And it doesn't take much to become, you know, in that top 10, top 1%, just because the rest of crypto traders are so stupid. So it's going to be fairly easy to get there. You know, you just take a cold mechanical approach. You know, you follow basic rules, and you know, for example, one of the most basic rules here would be don't buy this, because we're about to hit a pretty strong resistance. But you know, if it was one of these previous bounces, you know, even this bounce that happened, what, like yesterday or today, I forgot now. Yeah, today. Basic charting analysis would tell you to buy this and sell here. So that is pretty good. Bitcoin rocketed from 6 to 20k within 3 weeks in December 2017. The assumption was SIBO was as the catalyst. What catalyst do you see driving a run such as this? Yeah, ETF. That's a very good question. Keifel, if that's how you say it, Keifel? I don't know, I'm sorry. Yeah, I love how you brought that up. SIBO turned out to be the biggest cuck in history. As for ETF, it's probably not going to be, because it does mean real money comes into Bitcoin with like actual Bitcoin buys. But that is, it is a good sign. It's definitely one of the things that could set it off. Personally, I'm not as bullish on ETFs as other people. That's probably just because I don't understand it as well as other people. But I think that's really what's, you know, like I always say, what is actually going to set this off is news headlines, because without that, you're not going to be able to get average Mikey at the coffee machine to buy Bitcoin. He is going to have to overhear it from his friends' conversations and all that. So SIBO, ETFs, you know, these are things that got people talking, they got people hopeful. So it's very possible that, I mean, definitely ETFs are going to play a big role in setting Bitcoin off. But you know what, I just think it's a bit too predictable, man. You know, everyone's talking about it. I just think it's a bit too predictable. Mo, do I offer any trading courses? I am actually in the process of making one. So that is going to be pretty good. But of course, if you are interested in VIP, you can hit up the Telegram link in the description, and I do leave my name at the bottom of each post. You can message me there for that. What else have we got? How can you say that we are bullish? All the times Bitcoin needs a reversal with a big dip and high volume for reverse. That is what Bitcoin do. When is those situations? What are your thoughts? Emmanuel, good points there. So, you know, the crucial thing that we haven't got is big volume on this reversal. And you know, I addressed this a couple streams ago, and it's that yes, we do need volume, but if we are at the end of a bear market, the volume isn't going to come straight away. So it's going to stay relatively dry. It's going to be a slow recovery, right? So we could see a slow 6-month recovery now to take us up to levels like 11,600. Of course, that's okay with traders like us, because we short and long Bitcoin. And so whatever happens, we play those swings and get really good profits on the way. But if we are talking about a definite reversal, I completely agree with you, Emmanuel. You know, until we cross 6,800, until we see some good volume, even I'm not convinced by this. I mean, 6,800 is more of a relative area. I am still going to be skeptical until we breach even levels like 11,600, because, you know, we look at the grand scheme of things, and really 11.6 is the biggest resistance we've got, and you know, until we pass that, just considering how many times we've been rejected by it, you know, beyond 11.6, there's no real resistance for Bitcoin. But before it, it gets quite difficult. So, you know, it's even possible, you know, like I mentioned many streams ago now, we could be trading within a rectangular pattern a bit like this. So, you know, if we were to just stay in this kind of an area, this is a bit too opaque. Let me make that a bit more transparent for you. You know, if we were to just stay within this area, we could hit levels like 11.6 and then just get rejected. And what's the use in that? So, it's really hard to say right now. I mean, that is why I'm just playing these sort of daily swings and making profits on the way. And the idea is, you know, whether it goes up or down, you know, especially when it does go up, we can be longing that. So, and we'd use small leverage, you know, maybe 5, 10x. And, you know, you go long at 11.6. When we break above that pretty clearly, we ride that up to 20,000. That's a 10,000 jump. It's about a 50% gain, and if we go at that with 10x leverage, we've got a 5x gain instead of a 50% gain. So that's pretty cool on a 10x leverage. Please look at Neo. It's so bullish. FIFA, I actually called Neo in our VIP chat, so I have looked at Neo. I think it's doing all right since we called it. Let's check it out. Neo to Bitcoin. I'm on the wrong chart. Yeah, let's go to the 4-hour. Okay, so dumping a little bit. I think it just reached a high of about, yeah, 59. So that is good, but I can see this falling back down to EMA ribbon support and then going back up. We could see a similar trading pattern to what happened a couple days ago. Or that was even, no, that was yesterday. God, days feel like weeks in crypto. Honestly, I've lost my perception of time. You know what, like with this bear market, I stopped following crypto as much until like May and June, and so I finally regained my perception of time, and days actually felt like days, but now I'm right back into that feeling where I just lose track of time so easily. It all feels so so slow, or rather so quick. I don't know, one of those. Sorry, yeah, Jacob, you'll yeah, God, my math is terrible. Yeah, it's not. That would be nearly double, not a 50% gain. Yeah, you're 100% correct. That would be 80 to 90, yeah. I don't know why I said that. I was thinking 20 to 11 is 50% as a loss, nearly. So, yeah, thank you for correcting me there. Let's go ahead and take this yellow box off now. But you know what, apart from that, I mean, that's pretty much all of my TA. You know, like I said, nothing really matters until we hit 6,800 and we clear it. You know, the good feelings aside, all these good vibes and all that, it's great, but let's stay realistic, of course. First and foremost, we're in a rising wedge within a downtrend. Let's turn off this log chart now, it's getting kind of annoying. And take off all these indicators as well, because we don't need them to explain this. You know, we are in yet another rising wedge, and you know, the likelihood is very strong that, you know, once we break below 6,800, maybe tomorrow or today, rather, we're already below, but once we break below this sort of support line, we could just continue with the downtrend. I mean, this is the exact pattern we've seen play out many times, and the only two things really that are different now is that we've had our triple bottom, so we have bottomed out and we have sort of moved away from that level, but we still haven't cleared any important levels. We still haven't formed any solid support lines below us, and of course the futures, which we go over to the Bitfinex chart, and of course they are there as well. So, you know, I did call these reversals following these futures dates, CBO closing, CME opening, and it has happened. So this is a much more influential factor in my opinion. I do give this futures thing quite a lot of credit, way more than the average person seems to give them. Just given, you know, how the pattern has played out every time before, you know, following these futures reversals, following these futures dates, we have had reversals all the way back to December when it started. So it could definitely mean at the very least sort of a midterm uptrend. So, you know, like I said last stream, I think it was, or the stream before that, we could go up to about, you know, 7,500. I think 7,300 was the level I called, and then potentially get rejected by that, depending on how long it takes us to get there. You know, July last year was a pretty bearish month, so whether this kind of rally sustains, I don't know. Past performance does not indicate future results, of course, but I think with Bitcoin, it does a little bit more than usual. No, Bitcoin, sorry, bottom will be 4,500 to 5,000. One whale raising the price a few $100s does not signal a bull market. I absolutely agree with you, Noel. No, I do. It's just that right now we've broken out of this resistance. Let's go back to this Coinbase chart. Oh no, sorry, that was on Binance. Go back to this Binance chart here. We have broken out of this downtrend resistance, and we have formed an uptrend here. So it is an uptrend. But I think you said bull market, which are two different things. Yeah, so no, we're not in a bull market yet, but this could be the early signs of one. And one thing to bear in mind, Noel, I keep on bringing this up in the VIP chat especially, just because it lines up so well for me. What we could be seeing is a disbelief rally. So if this does turn out to be the real rally, you know, the real bottom of Bitcoin, we're going to have people like Noel and even like myself saying that this isn't going to be it. We do still need a retrace. And that is disbelief, alright? And that's completely fine. It's just after so many failed attempts at breaking out, eventually you're going to be like, okay, well, I'm joining the bearish camp now, and I'm going to completely shut off any bullish signs, because every time it's resulted in my feelings getting hurt. I'm not teasing anyone here. I know this sounds so satirical. I'm just being completely honest with you, and so at that time you form a very hard shell, and so any indication of a bullish reversal now, because it's failed every time before, you're thinking it's going to fail once more yet again, and so that's disbelief, because when it does actually happen, you won't believe it. It's a sucker's rally. Maybe you'll end up selling everything. You know, guys, bear in mind when we bottomed out in 2015 and we had that massive bear market through 2014, there were people who, on those fake rallies, they were like, you know, this is a sucker's rally, and so they sold. And, you know, it's all good and well saying, you know, oh, I wish I bought in 2011 when it was like $1, but you would have sold earlier than that because you're human. So I don't like I wish statements like that. I think they're pretty stupid. You guys will cry when it hits 20,000. Next year, very close to... next year's very loose to... I don't understand your comment, Baroness, I'm sorry. No volume is a concern. I completely agree with you, Mo. I mean, let's go back to this coin market cap page here. I mean, yeah, 14 billion, not good, not good. We should... I mean, nearly 15, maybe if I refresh it. But we should definitely be seeing larger volume. Okay, so it's actually going down a little bit. Down by 300 million. I mean, you would expect that, especially now that we're forming a consolidation pattern. Go back to the... Oh, we are on the 4 hour, my bad. Go back to the 1 hour. We are forming a bit of a consolidation pattern, so you would expect volume to decrease when this happens. But at the moment, as it stands, this volume should be higher, especially if we do have a reversal. But it's possible, you know, I got a very interesting question today, you know, does TA work with all of this manipulation? You know, the RSI hasn't been useful anymore because it bottoms out, but then it still keeps on going lower, that kind of thing. It's a very good question, and so I think there are a few things we have to negate. If it proves not to be a trustworthy indicator, like volume hasn't been a trustworthy indicator lately, RSI has not been a trustworthy indicator. You guys haven't heard me talking about the RSI. I only keep it on out of habit because it makes me feel comfortable when it's here. But yeah, I mean, this just feels so weird to me. So I do like keeping the RSI on, but it does not mean that it's a reliable indicator. Lately, it has not been a reliable indicator. I mean, it has predicted this top somewhat, but these are, you know, these are not things to base the reliability off the RSI, especially, you know, on this 1 hour chart. We go to the 4 hour or daily, you know, we've just kept on hitting this bottom, and Bitcoin historically did not, you know, when it hit this kind of an RSI level, it did not go lower, yet now it has. So we've had to kind of discredit the RSI now and turn to something else, turn to more reliable indicators, and lately that has been basic candle pattern analysis, which is why I made that video and made it my top priority to make that video. Just because we have to, you know, we have to change and adapt constantly, and if you can't do that, you're going to get wrecked. So it's all about that constant adaptation. Cup and handle on the 1 hour. If you're talking about this, I don't think that's a cup and handle, mate. That's too short of a time frame. Best strategy is 50% Bitcoin, 50% fiat. Trade to increase Bitcoin. Do another job to increase your fiat so you can't miss anything. Yeah, I like that, Elio. I mean, I don't think it's as simple as just do another job to increase fiat for a lot of people. Which video sent? It's called, like, basic candle analysis. Let me put the link in here. yeah, I don't think it's as easy as just saying, you know, get another job. I would, you know, I kind of wish it was, because then life would be a lot simpler, but then, you know, some people are in really messed up positions by no fault of their own. So I have gotten a lot of requests about this video, so I have just put it in the chat for you guys if you want to check that out at the end of this video, maybe save that link or something. But apart from that, my TA is done. So if you guys have any questions before I do sign off, then do let me know. It's been half an hour running. Loving doing these live streams daily, as you already know. Do you see similar M pattern formation? Yeah, actually, Piotr, I have kind of noticed it, but it's negated now because I noticed it on this pattern here. So I didn't call this because it was such a small time frame, and I don't like saying M pattern. It sounds very unprofessional, so I decided not to call it. But it looks like it wasn't a useful one to go off anyway, because it hasn't resulted in a big dump. So it could mean that the dump is near. Sounds kind of doomsday-esque, but I don't see specifically that. You know, something much more like this is what we'd be looking for, you know, kind of like this. But we don't have it here yet. Thanks from the West Coast USA. Amazing. Wish I could live on the West Coast USA maybe one day. People waiting for 5,000 Coinbase soon. Millions comes and push the price to 20k. That sounds like some wishful thinking right there, mate. I don't know about that. Bitcoin optimistic prediction this year. You know what? I always say I don't like making long-term predictions, but I'm relatively optimistic for Bitcoin in this year. Check out the weekly RSI. Someone did request that. Probably better to use a different chart like Bitfinex for this. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty low. It hasn't been this low for a while. If anything, this just tells me it's going to go lower, though, because there's no support. RSI, I mean, TA on the RSI is a bit complicated and weird, but considering that it's come this low, when was it this low last time? So this was like, what, 2014 March, so this was right in the, you know, the peak, what's the word, like denial of that bubble pop. And there was a bit of a rally up, so we could definitely see that and then carry our way down. Very possible. I don't think it will happen, but I'm not ruling it out as a possibility. So if anything, yeah, this RSI is just telling me we're bearish. When VPVR in-depth explanation, I will try to make it very soon. I didn't know there was a lot of demand for it. Thanks from Texas, awesome. Oh yeah, guys, I pulled up this this image for you Americans, the Freedom Eagle. So obviously 4th of July, Independence Day. I don't think we have one in the UK. We have the 1066th anniversary in about 40 years. But yeah, nice little eagle for you. I thought I quite like the Freedom Eagle. I find it kind of funny, and I love how it does embody the US. Well, it doesn't embody them anymore, but it embodies the principles they were founded on, so that's okay. Uh, 45k minimum. Bit of a perma bull right here. Mega bull. Market ready to tank. Dow is primed and ready. What do you think it will do to the price of Bitcoin? I do not know, Diarchy. You know, what the Dow Jones, what the rest of the stock markets and all that could do in the real world, how that could affect Bitcoin. I was talking to Crypto Kirby about this, and you know, the idea he put forward is that if we're still in a bear market at the time, you know, when we have some sort of like financial collapse or whatever, if Bitcoin is still in a bear market, then it will not be used as a hedge. And I agree with that, because there's no confidence in Bitcoin right now. You know, when you want a hedge, you want something stable, you want something like gold and silver, and so Bitcoin is anything but stable, as you can tell by this 70% drop. So I don't think it's good news for Bitcoin if we get like a major sort of global financial crash, but everyone is expecting it this time around. So, you know, I was even talking to teachers at school about, well, a teacher at school about it. So this kind of thing I don't think is primed to happen as soon as people expect it to. Alessio Rostani, he made a pretty good video about this. Niche, I don't know if you're still watching, was the guy who told me about him. He made a pretty good video about the London, specifically real estate bubble collapsing. But yeah, you know, London obviously being irrelevant now because of Brexit, it still plays a decent, sort of decent role in the global sphere. So what happens to London could slightly ripple over to the rest of the world, and it does line up with how everything else seems to be in a bit of a bubble. Yeah, smash those likes, Karma Police. Thank you so much. Only 91 likes. You guys are doing me bad. Yeah, and again, I mean, just quick shout out to every single one of you who've subscribed. You know, 20,000 subscribers, 13 past that now. Is it 13? Yeah, 15. Amazing, amazing. I love you guys. Yeah, turn on those notifications. Join the Telegram channel if you're not already in there. Follow me on Twitter for my shit posts. Plenty of confidence in Bitcoin. Where was we at the same time last year? Yeah, true. I mean, this time last year we were what, like $2,000. So that's still a 3x gain. Absolutely not bad. Alessio is great. Yeah, he does some really, really good in-depth analysis. Is Bitcoin not forming ascending wedge? Yeah, it is. So that's what I've been covering. Let me turn on those. Bring the Coinbase chart up and turn on those lines. So yeah, this is yet another, I mean, ascending rising wedge, same thing. US home foreclosures at 10%. I don't know what a foreclosure is, unfortunately. I give you a like because you like Kirby. Thank you, Marinus. If Bitcoin goes to 20,000 tomorrow, I will deposit my money in the bank. Okay, well that's funny. You'll deposit your money in the bank. 2008 crash happened at 19% foreclosure. Okay, so, I mean, Fashad, if we're going off that, that would indicate that we're not even close to it. And that does make sense. I genuinely do not think, just given how many people are expecting it, you know, they would buy the dip. You know, it's not something like the London housing market. I mean, he was predicting, unless you're studying, he was predicting like a 15% drop, and that's really not too much. I mean, maybe that's because I'm desensitized to numbers being in the crypto space, but I mean, yeah, I guess if all you've got is a 9-to-5 job and debt up to your ass, and you've got a, you know, like a 300k house, and then it drops by 15% your net worth, I don't know, maybe it's gonna like kind of ruin your day, but I guess we're just kind of used to it, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I would welcome it. I mean, probably get into real estate if that happens. Bank takes it back. Yeah, there's a rising wedge plus the 5 waves being done, which tells me to short. But hey, everyone should do their own TA. Completely agree, Pygos. Your analysis is pretty good, by the way. I'm really noticing this. Thank you for contributing. Yeah, no, look, this is you know, being realistic here with this resistance, with this rising wedge, with this downtrend. You know, the bullish news not really doing anything. This is a short opportunity. I mean, it is, and it hurts to say it, but I still think this entire 6,000 yeah, did you yeah, 15% is not a big drop, as we know, but I mean, this entire downtrend, bullish news hasn't really been supporting it, and so yeah, we do have some things that are different this time. Like I mentioned, the triple bottom, the futures, you know, all the news about ETFs and all that, sentiment probably improving a little bit, but if we drop down, this should not come as a surprise to any of you, because it's just repeating the same pattern that's already repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Is it 4 times rather, going on a 5th time now, and really it doesn't look like there's much different about this. Actually, you know, the only thing that may be different is we're getting some better green volume on the green days rather than red volume dominating, but apart from that, still pretty bleak, to be honest. Volume should be higher. I don't know. I mean, this is something that we just have to wait and see, unfortunately. Really not too much we can go off with this chart. Alessio wishes Fibonacci was a nice Italian pasta. Actually, I noticed we have a double top and a rising wedge as well. I didn't notice your double top. Oh, okay. Do you mean this? Yeah, okay. I see. If this is what you're calling, this is more like a triple top. Because we hit this. It's not even a triple top, is it? I mean, this is like a relative area. We only wicked above it. What, like 4 times? 3 times? Yeah, 3. So a quadruple top. I don't know. But yeah, I see what you mean. If this is what you're talking about, yeah. I mean, look, 68 is a big resistance level. It's going to take some pretty serious firepower to send us above that level. Because, you know, you've got to bear in mind, there are people who feel sick of this market, and they just want to sell it at a good price now and then leave it, and then never come back until they FOMO in at double the price. So, it's still it's still a heavy resistance area. You know, we're bullish when we go up and we're bearish when we go down. You've got to bear these two important facts in mind and stay as neutral as you possibly can. Of course, that is exactly what I do, what I try to do rather, every single day. At times it gets difficult, one of these days being an example of where staying completely neutral is a bit difficult because sentiment has improved and like I said, you can hear it in my voice, but we've still got to stay realistic, take a step back. If you ever feel like you're getting a bit too hyped or you're getting a bit too upset one way or the other, take a step back and maybe meditate or something and get your mind in a clear headspace. What do you think of Gann charts, his predictions in 1929? I have not studied the 1929 crash, if that's what you're talking about, and I haven't heard of Gann charts either. Are there any other traders you confer with? Confer? I don't know the meaning of that. I think I do, unless you use that word incorrectly. Some of the traders I follow, yeah, let me list them real quick. I think you guys will like them. So Crypto Ed is a good one. Crypto Hedge, you'll have to pause the video and note these names down. Korean Jew, he's good for alts. I wouldn't really go for bit. He doesn't do Bitcoin TA really. But he's good as well. Obviously Crypto Kirby, Alessio doesn't really focus on these things as much, but off the top of my... Oh yeah, and Donald, absolutely amazing. I'm actually doing a sort of collaboration with him in a bit. Donald is notoriously bearish and his predictions are very, very good. So definitely check him out as well. I'm excited. I'm actually going to be making a video on one of the Medium articles he put out, which is all about the psychology of trading. I think you guys will love it. Again, that video is delayed by 7 days now, but it's not gonna go out of fashion. Google Gann charts. Okay, I'll check it out at the end of this stream. Just copy and paste that message so I don't forget it. Alright. I've Googled that. I'll get to it at the end of this stream because it does sound interesting and, you know, I have wanted to read books on the 1929 crash. No, it's Don Alt. Let me type that in the chat. That's Don Alt on Twitter. Yeah, and Korean Jew. All great people, yeah. Again, Korean Jew is more of an alt guy, so I don't think you'll find much relief from him in this kind of in Bitcoin TA and all that. Meditate and hold. It's one way to go about it. Looks like it might make an M top. I don't know about that yet. We still haven't seen... Oh, right, yeah, okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay, so yeah, if we go down here, that would definitely be an M top, yeah. Sorry, I don't know how I missed that. That was pretty obvious. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Looks like it could be an M off. Sorry, an M top. Yeah, no, Donald is great. But guys, you know what? I'm pretty much done with this hair. You know, I've covered all of my TA. I've answered a lot of your questions. We're now 43 minutes in. Just joined now. What you mean price is going to drop? You should probably rewind this and watch the rest of this stream, mate. I don't want to go through it again, just for everyone who's been here since the beginning. But guys, if you're not already in the Telegram group, definitely do join that. VIP, of course, is open. If you guys are interested in that, you get a lot more signals from me. I've put out a big strategy. I did a private VIP stream. I'm able to jump into one-to-one phone calls with members in VIP, and it's been amazing in terms of the responses. It really does clear up common concerns and things like that. Yeah, the feedback from that has been pretty good. I think you guys would love it. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, obviously, if you're not even in the Telegram group, then definitely get in there. You do get my free signals. No, the name of his Twitter is Donald. I don't know why I'm shilling other people on this stream. How long have I been trading for, James? I've been in this game since May 2017, so about 10 years. In terms of real life years, when we compare it to crypto. Thank you so much, Sen. Yeah, you're a member in our VIP, totally worth it. Yeah, I obviously I'd say it is, but you heard it from a member himself as well. So if you are interested, then my name will be at the bottom of gold post. You can message me in PMs and I'll send you all of the info. What do I think about Nebulas? I think they had a bit of FUD a while back, didn't they? Like, FUD that invalidated them? Was it something like that? I don't know. Let me check on Neo again. See how that's doing. It's the only alt I've entered. And I've only entered it because I have an affinity with this alt. I mean, I just like it. So, you could have chosen many other alts. I just chose Neo because Neo's a good one. Yeah, Neo's a safe bet. But yeah, guys, I am going to be heading off here now. I hope you have found this stream useful. I hope you've learned something. Smash those likes one last time before we do go off. Support again has been amazing. Once again, thank you so much for 20,000 subscribers, and of course, happy Independence Day. Is that what you say for to all the American viewers? But with that, guys, yeah, I am out. Have a great day. Peace.